Sounds good, right? Sound is good in the back? Yes, it's good sound. We have sound people to make sure the sound is good. Right. Shana Tova. You know, I was coming down the stairs, risking my life as those stairs present, and it was so beautiful. The Schaffler Forum was singing the Misha Berach for healing, the sanctuary singing the Misha Berach for healing, and they're about 2 notes apart. And I thought that bodes beautifully, right? For a year of health and blessing, if we're all on the same page, were the country had this all on the same page, we'd be, just fine. I like Erev Rosh Hashanah to be fairly commercial-free, but I just want to mention a couple of things to you. Every time I see those bags, I can't not comment. We bring 20 pallets of food into hungry homes in New York. We're one of the largest providers on the high holidays. It is desperately needed. So take the bag home, bring it back, and there's an additional way to help, but don't choose one or the other. The additional way to help is on our website. You can press on the link for 2 weeks, Amazon wish list, and you can order and send it in our name, and it'll increase our numbers. Secondly, I understand from our homeless shelter captains that the sign-up so far has been terrible. We need you to sign up to take a night in the shelter. You will feel really gratified, you'll feel really blessed, and you'll know that you have done a mitzvah. Tomorrow morning, there's a million choices. You can study with Rabbi Carroll in the church prior to 11 o'clock service if you're not going to the family service. One service I have not experienced, because I can't experience it, I'm in the sanctuary, takes place here, the Shalom Sprout service. Imagine a room filled of 0 to 5 with their parents. I don't even know how you guys conduct that service, but besides being, a tad chaotic, it gives you such an amazing sense of how many young families we have and how wonderful that bodes for the future of Judaism, of RSS, of the Royal Shalom Religious School, of the strength of our congregation. It just tells you how many people really want into this wonderful, wonderful congregation. Once again, we have entered our holy spaces. We greet each other. We hug. Man, do we hug. We schmooze and often put on a game face. But just beneath the surface, we may harbor fear, anxiety, and we often possess hidden yearnings. A great Eastern European teacher, the Dubner Maggid, told this parable. The Dubner said, once there was a grocer who lived in a small village. Once a year he went to the big city and was dazzled by all that was on display there. He piled everything in his basket. When he got to the cashier and looked in his purse, he was embarrassed and said in a whisper, I am so sorry. I cannot have everything I want. And the Dubner continues. We call out to God, Avinu Malkeinu, give us health. Avinu Malkeinu, give us wealth. But at some point, we may stop and assess and ask ourselves, I know what I want, but what do I really need? The Dubner is right. We have wants. We want reservations to the hottest restaurants as soon as they open. We want tickets, the best seats to the best shows at the right time. And we need to get to the doctor, the right doctor. A close friend of mine called up a specialist, this is a true story, was told that the first appointment they had was 8 weeks later. 8 weeks, he asks? Let me ask a question. If President Kennedy of blessed memory needed an appointment, could you get him in this week? Well, I'd have to ask my boss, but I'm sure somehow we could accommodate President Kennedy. Well, he said, sadly, he's no longer with us. I'll take his appointment. And of course, we want the best schools, right? Clearly, we are blessed to have the best schools right here. The Rosh Hashanah school, the Rosh Hashanah religious school, you thought the sermon was going to be commercial free? With great pride, RSS is celebrating our 50th anniversary. Shechiyanu, right? It's worthy of a very hearty shout out. But as you all well know, you don't have to be named Felicity or Lori to be stressed out about getting our kids into the schools of our choice. And if we're honest, many of us do whatever we can within legal limits to accomplish these aims. Their success or failure reflects on us, we believe. So we diminish our checkbooks, maximize our contacts, anything and everything to gain that seat. If he or she doesn't get in, we are devastated. Now what happens? The wait list, continued contacts, but if he or she doesn't get in, your child goes off to another school, is happy and fulfilled, right? Looking back a few years later, we wonder, how much did it really matter? What difference did it make in her life or in ours? What do you want in your life? What should you want? Some of the most profound and important experiences we ever have with our children happen right here in our synagogue, on our bimot. Take bar and bat mitzvah, the most important ritual any religion has ever devised, in my opinion. We say to 13-year-olds, you are needed to carry on this miraculous history, the 4,000-year-old journey of a resilient people who refuse to disappear from the world. You are needed, we tell them, by God, by your community, by your world. You, 13-year-old, can really make a difference. And we at Rosh Hashanah work extremely hard to make sure that the experience is one of the most meaningful in your entire life, and I believe we do a spectacular job. After all that hard work, they deserve a celebration. This is a simcha. Siman tov u'mazel tov. Celebrate, of course. But ask yourself, have you achieved the right balance between bima and party? Do our kids understand what is really important to you? Is that communicated by the amount of time we devote to each element of the journey? One more story. Murray, planning a bar mitzvah of his son, wanted to be like no bar mitzvah anyone had ever seen. Invitees are flown first class to Africa, mounted on elephants to trudge through remote jungles, an extraordinary, beautiful setting where the ceremony would happen. Hours and hours, the procession ambles through dense bush until suddenly there's a big holdup. And nobody knew what the problem was. Nobody knew in the back could see in the front, so they called forward, elephant to elephant, to see what the holdup is. Slowly the answer came back, rider to rider, elephant to elephant. We had to stop. There's another bar mitzvah in front of us. Eddie, you knew that punchline, didn't you? I know. I could see you did. And believe it or not, our kids enjoy their celebration more knowing that they have worked hard and participated in the mitzvah of Jewish continuity, but also that they've done something to help other human beings in the process. I am so impressed with the mitzvah projects our kids do to help the Jewish world and the world at large, and not just the projects they do, but that they continue doing them for months and even years. Many of our kids stay involved in Rosh Hashanah long after the service, proving that it is not a performance, but it is a commitment. This is the reason I ask people not to say my child has become bar mitzvahed. It's not over. You are the son and daughter of the mitzvot now for the rest of your life, an orientation to living, to finding meaning, and to bringing blessing into our world. A true Shechianu moment. But of course, life also gives us jolts that can bring us to our knees. My colleague, Rabbi Bradley Artson, learns that his son is autistic. I thought my entire world had caved in, he wrote. I was betrayed by God and the cosmos, he felt. But slowly, as time went on, Rabbi Artson was in a very different place. My son Jacob taught me to let go of expectations. I learned to appreciate his many gifts, to love him for who he was, to thank God for the blessing of Jacob. Not the Jacob I projected, but the Jacob I now hold in my arms. The best laid plans, right? Author Judith Viorst wrote Quality Time in a book before bedtime. I did everything right. Then why, when I reach out to touch him, does he hold me at bay? Something inside of me dies when I look at my son's shuttered eyes. So far, so very far from here. Trick-or-treating and soccer games, and yet now he's stumbling through jungles of bittersweet black, unwilling or unable to come back. I never claimed to be the perfect mother. I made mistakes, but God, I was so glad to be his mother. And God, I love this kid. Did I do something wrong? Am I kidding myself, telling myself a few lies? While somewhere a frightened child cries, and I wait, and I hope, and I pray he'll find his way home. We yearn for them to come home. We yearn for return. Perhaps it's a case of family estrangement that can rip us apart. Perhaps we yearn for a child to come back from the black hole of depression, from drug and alcohol dependency, from relationships that are inappropriate, which brought out the very worst in them. We yearn for their return as we ask on this holy day, is there something I can do to help? Have I done what I can? Have I given them support? Reminding them in their brokenness they can count on us to pick up the pieces, to show them that we do love them, we're proud of them in their struggle, and confident that they will find their way back. The Boston Globe some years ago sported this headline: the biggest threat facing middle-aged men isn't smoking or obesity, it is loneliness. Loneliness. Not having friends to talk to, not knowing where to turn. It can be true for women too. Often women in committed relationships are lonely as well. We yearn for a true partner. There's a lovely story told by author Somerset Maugham called The Colonel's Lady, about a man who buries himself in the morning paper living with a woman he hadn't truly seen in years. One day a book is delivered to the house. It turns out to be a book of poems written by the Colonel's wife. He reacts with amused indulgence. He gives a rather patronizing smile before turning back to his paper. He never really understood this woman he occupies space with. Soon, however, all of London is buzzing about these poems. They are erotic and vivid. In striking images, the poems describe a torrid affair. The colonel is in a total tizzy. In excruciating pain, he confronts his wife and asks if the poems are true. She says, yes, they are based on reality. I demand to know who it is, he thunders. In a soft voice, his wife answers, it was you. You, as you were all those years ago when you really loved me. Her husband was incredulous. The poem said I died. You did, his wife went on to say. The man who loved me died. What about us? Have we stopped seeing each other? Appreciating how blessed we are to have this person in our lives? Or do we just take them for granted? Did he not see all you've done to support his career, to help you deal with that devastating challenge? Do we not thank enough, show appreciation enough? Do our actions reflect our feelings? I don't have to tell you about the insane pace of life. Most of us struggle and feel guilty about work-life balance, maybe about 4 times a day. In her book, The Myth of Equal Partnerships, Dr. Dorothy Lockman quotes a dad who remarks, the expectation among my male friends is that they will have the life they had before they have kids. Women are often angry about this, while many men don't seem to realize there's a problem at all. Now, this is no longer true in all cases, and it shouldn't be true at all. Work-life juggling, though, caring for nuclear family, caring for aging parents, too often means that women have to severely compromise career goals and earn considerably less money. Even in 2019, far more often than not, only one person in a partnership comes home from a full day's work and begins a full day's work, including the often excruciating ritual of waking them up and getting them to school. I'm not even mentioning walking the dog. Women need support, but also the ability to make decisions about her life, her health, and the ability to decide whether, when, and how to bear children under perhaps the most unprecedented assault on women in this land of the free. It has to be our collective national resolve not to return to Egypt, not to permit enslavement of women, but to insist that they and we are free to make decisions that allow all of us to fulfill our God-given potential, both for goodness and greatness. Rosh Hashanah teaches that God has given us the gift of self-regard, the confidence to be able to love ourselves in order to love others. What God gives us, no human being, no legislature, and no president can ever take away. On Rosh Hashanah, we need to feel the urgency, yes, the yearning to return to the person, the Jew, the friend, the family member that we knew always we could be. The Unatana Tokef will remind us tomorrow and on Yom Kippur, yes, we can shake a fist at God. Yes, we can blame everyone else. But fundamentally, there often is something we can do. Psychoanalyst Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi death camps, wrote, "For too long, we have lived the illusion that if we just improve the socioeconomic situation of people, everything will be okay. The truth is, as the struggle for survival has subsided, the question has emerged, survival for what?" Frankl goes on, "Many more people today have the means to live, but not the meaning to live for. To find that purpose, to find the reason God put us on the earth is the key to living a successful life." And finally, you remember that incredible movie, Saving Private Ryan. Crucial scene at the end of the movie is Jim is confronting the soon-to-die captain, or comforting the soon-to-die captain, who actually rescued him from certain death. While saving Ryan, virtually the entire platoon of soldiers will die, including the captain. In a climactic moment, he turns to Private Ryan and says, "James, earn it. Earn it all." At the end of our life, don't we fear that we've not done it right? Looking back, we should be less concerned about what we own and more concerned about what we have given. Have we really appreciated the gift of life? Have we done something to make a difference? Have we understood our tradition's teaching that good things in life last for limited days, but a good name endures forever? A good name is the only thing that really matters, and the only thing of value that we leave behind. So we must answer this question. What do you wish for on this day? What should you wish for? Our question is the same as Private Ryan's. As we think about our life and legacy, tell me, loved ones, have I gained respect for my actions, for my values? Can you tell me I am a good person? And so we pray, dear God, help me. Help me to earn it.